Ladies and gentlemen, family and friends, scholars and dignitaries, welcome to another episode. Welcome to my world.
Hello, friends. So, what do you do when there are two completely different factions maintaining scientific findings that are directly contradictory and in direct conflict with each other? Now, I'm not saying that this is like politics. In politics, people have opinions, and opinions are a mix of feelings and emotions, ideologies and political preferences. No, this is science, and science is based upon a level of certainty of observable fact and findings. Or is it? As you know, there is a great concern by both governments and people across the world with what is seen as global warming, now generally called climate change. Now, before we get into specifics, the fact is that the weather, the climate, is always changing, and it has for hundreds of thousands of years. In fact, at one point, the Earth itself was a giant glacier, and I remember reading in the 1970s that North America has now lost 50 of its biggest glaciers. In other words, they melted, evaporated, and that was before scientists ever identified any large carbon footprint. So, where are we now? Without taking a stance on global warming either way, I find it interesting that there are two distinct sides in the global warming discussion. The first side is that which believes that climate change is happening and will be the ultimate destruction of people all over the earth. Many groups believe this, and actually, some 193 countries, including the European Union, have signed the Paris Climate Accord, a strategy which will radically change the way people use energy and behave for decades to come. And many governments have already taken drastic steps to control energy, not just the fossil fuels, but other types of energy as well, including by use of energy taxes, regulation and control, and even energy rationing, all to limit the amount of carbon expelled into the air. But interestingly enough, other scientists have disputing evidence and findings and present exactly the opposite findings. Most notably, a group calling itself the Global Climate Intelligence Group has issued a world climate declaration that states that there is no climate emergency. They said that the geological archive reveals that Earth's climate has varied as long as the planet has existed, with natural cold and warm phases. They said that what they call the Little Ice Age ended as recently as 1850. Therefore, it is no surprise that we are now experiencing a period of warming, and they say that the warming we may be experiencing at this time is independent of any carbon footprint. They say that climate science should be less political, and scientists should address the uncertainties and exaggerations, and politicians should be cognizant of the real cost that their radical policies are inflicting on the masses. They also point out that many of the climate models which forecast, quote, the doom and gloom scenarios have serious shortcomings and actually neglect the fact that more carbon dioxide is actually good for nature and has both promoted growth in global plant biomass and is also profitable for agriculture, increasing the yields of crops worldwide. There were other points made in this report as well, but one other is that there is no statistical evidence that global warming is intensifying hurricanes, floods, droughts, and such like natural disasters or making them more frequent. Meanwhile, they concur that there is ample evidence that CO2 mitigation measures are as damaging as they are costly. So, was this just a fly-by-night report by a couple of disgruntled scientists? No, it was a report signed by 1,107 scientists, professors, and climate professionals from countries all over the world, including the United States, Canada, United Kingdom, India, and countries in the European Union, Africa, South America, and Asia. In other words, well over 1,000 of the top minds in their field have now come out to say that there is no climate emergency, therefore, there is no cause for panic and alarm, and they strongly oppose the harmful and unrealistic net zero CO2 policies proposed for 2050. They believe that climate science has degenerated into a discussion that is based on beliefs rather than on sound, self-critical science. Hey, be safe, be well, and even if we do have climate change, we need to listen to everyone to find the right course of action. And may God bless.